very much, Laura, for this invitation. And thank you so much, Lisa and Aidan, for your beautiful, rich readings. I look forward to following you both. I'm going to read from Black Umbrella, poetic memoir. All of my books, including my verse novel, all deal with family dysfunction. Cheery subject. I'm just endlessly fascinated by the structure of the family, why some families stay together, some families fall apart or reform themselves, reform in every sense of the word. And without any further introduction, I'll just read the title poem, Black Umbrella. Now you're gone, I can't stop the rain in my dreams. Now you're gone, it rains and rains. And I'll move over to Red Plaid Blanket. And I give this poem to Aidan. Here we go. I didn't have the energy to decorate a tree that Christmas, but I relented, stood a balsam fir in the living room for the adults who were once my little kids. Faced with the season, our first without Papa, a new year arriving in 12 days. I can do anything for 12 days. January 1, I stripped away tinsel, unhooked flightless birds, glass balls, mute bells, the angel whose halo is forever askew. And then I parted the tinder dry branches at mid-height, gripped the trunk with both hands, tipped the timber over and down onto the red plaid blanket my father always packed in the trunk of his car. Needles netted my hair, medicinal smell of resin, my fingers, both palms, gummed with pine sap. The frozen air stunned my breath as I opened the front door. I dipped my chin, turned and stepped back inside to finish the job, bent my knees, my back, wrapped both arms around the dead tree, lifted and dragged its weight through the heart of my home and into bitter, cold winter. And let's move over to this poem called It's Not Fair to Compare, So Let's. In fact, the woman who's referenced in this poem is somebody who's been in my life forever. I was just talking to her about an hour ago or so. So it's in two parts. My roommate's mother rides a Greyhound bus for 8 hours, then grabs a cab to our basement apartment off campus. Her weekend luggage is a soft-sided, dull brown suitcase and a cardboard box loaded with fall market fruit. She unpacks ripe red apples, green pears, dark purple Concord grapes, peaches firm as tennis balls, each piece washed, rinsed, and more gifts, white cotton lace camisoles, one for Laura, one for me. Laura offers her bed, but this mother opts for the pull-out couch instead. That night, she treats us to pork cutlets at a diner downtown. She doesn't backcomb her thin gray hair or wear foundation to hide wrinkles that soften as she shares stories from home about Laura's father, Laura's 3 older brothers. We leave together, but I hang back a few paces, let them chat, hold hands, follow the long scenic route home, the floodlit Rideau Canal that will soon freeze for skating miles and miles. B. My mother hits town that same first semester in a navy blue Lincoln Continental, driven by a married man whose other life is a wife with 2 little kids. He and mother show up at the apartment after checking in at a historic hotel that costs as much for 2 nights as all my textbooks for the year. He carries one bag, a black leather hard shell portable bar the size of a Smith Corona typewriter case. Mother unsnaps the brass locks, sets up cocktail hour beside the two-burner hot plate. Martini glasses, shaker, vodka, dry vermouth, olives. Yes, I have ice. No, thank you. Laura escapes to the library. I sip cold tea. Mother never tells me again I'm just like my father. Dull, no fun. I don't argue, push back, or speak up. Someone in this party for three needs to stay sober, not lose the keys. This next piece is called The Heart Wants. I am 19 when I meet him, 29 when I finally agree he's right. What kind of man waits a decade for a woman? I don't know. Wait, that's a lie. The better question is this: what took me so long? I was more rabbit than girl in those days. Small game, sensing danger, twitches its ears and sniffs the air, bolts. My knack for survival, born of a mother who assumed I'd fall for the same trap. She warned me, packed me off with a flashlight, a kiss, and direction. Earn your own gold, she told me. I traveled both poles, trekked alone to better, harder jobs, while he wrote letters, phoned me long distance, a friend who dialed into the heart of the matter. What was the matter? Not a thing. I needed time, time to fall in love with my body, my voice, my brave, sure-footed animal self. Now I'll read one more poem from this collection because I noticed when I was flipping through poems that the first one is subtitled Friends. So it's in 5 parts. It's called The Modern Woman's Guide to Aging. Friends. Make pals with Grace. She's the woman who pierces flesh for a living and marinates snap beans in whiskey. And if you're lucky, and you are, she'll invite you fishing, silver hook, long line, the lake a mirror where you fall in love with yourself. Wardrobe. Go pigeon and call yourself rock dove, dress top to tail in slate gray, flaunt style with twin black stripes where your wings fold, toss an iridescent green scarf around your neck, pink socks for spark, boots. Health. There are days when your bones complain and too many people ask too many questions. No need to confess that it wasn't the flu that sent you back to bed. It was the sad stones in your heart that simply ran out of room. Go for a walk. Wear your hat with the feather. Relinquish your sorrows to the prairie. Diet. Don't. Finances. Every wrinkle, every gray hair, every soft fold, every double chin, every varicose vein, every bunion, every mole, every dry knuckle, every capped tooth, every back pain, every migraine speaks in honor of your rich life. So I want to just turn to a new piece because I have made myself move away from writing about family, and I've turned instead to the subject of chosen family under the general umbrella of friends. I've been diving into friendship theory and trying to blend theory with anecdote while teaching myself the lyric essay. So I'm going to use you as guinea pigs and read this longer last piece. It's called Oldest Dearest. Dear dears? No. My loves? No. Dear what? All I want to do this rainy Monday afternoon is tap out a quick hello to 3 of my oldest, dearest friends. Let Vicky, Susan, and Diane know I am thinking of them, missing them, wishing we could get together despite the thousands of miles between us. I want to say I miss you. I want to be sure they do not forget me. Not ever. Dear ladies? No, no, and no. Ever since moving west over 40 years ago from Southern Ontario, where the 3 of them still live, I have entertained the fantasy of scissoring the map of Canada the way a tailor adjusts a suit jacket that is too big across the shoulders, too wide through the waist, too long in the sleeves. I'd cut out Manitoba and northwestern Ontario, then tuck and stitch to give my rectangular province an unobstructed access to Lake Ontario. Soon I'd be hopping in my car for an afternoon drive to meet Vicky, Susan, and Diane, or all three of them for lunch, or a long walk in the woods. I could be home again for dinner. Dear guys? No, I can't type guys into the salutation, despite all the waiters and waitresses, the salespeople, our friends, our families, who reach for this collective noun when referring to any group of any gender. Dear girls? The word lacks gravitas once a woman is old enough to vote and buy herself a glass of wine. Dear women? Too much gravitas for my graph of wacky friends, too starched, too uptight, too tight-lipped. Dear pals? Too casual, though we have spent countless hours hanging out in our pajamas, housecoats, and wool socks. Dear buddies? Perhaps, though I hear the diminutive when I try it on my tongue and think of buds as in rosebuds, which summons the English poet Robert Herrick. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, old time is still a-flying, and this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying. Dear rosebuds? They would laugh me off my perch. Dear friends? Too obvious, too flat, too overused. A politician will scan the crowd and refer to everyone, sitting or standing, as my friends. I hear Caesar's famous address, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your cell phones. I lean back in my chair to gaze out the window as a flock of geese lifts off from the pond out back. Little flock is how the Roman statesman, orator, and philosopher Cicero referred to his chosen group of friends. The impulse to draw a circle around friends is of a common feather, to name them the way one names a team, is more than just fanciful. It's tribal, an instinctive reflex that allows a group of any size to seize and normalize specific behaviors. The four of us love to haul out long ago behaviors that led us to refer to our tribe as the derelicts, a name we thankfully outgrew. Yet the impulse to replace this name is one I feel every time I begin a group text or find myself in their company without a way to call their attention except by hollering, "Hey, you fools, ready to go hiking?" As teenagers, the four of us moved through classes, through hallways, through after-school drives around town, through weekend parties and into pubs as an inseparable gang. We flirted with danger in all the usual ways a teenager experiments with boundaries. By skipping classes, by drinking underage, by driving under the influence, by smoking cigarettes, by inhaling, by pulling the money we earned from part-time jobs in retail to buy a $20 bag of weed from the friend of a friend of a friend, and later sitting around the white oval kitchen table in the home of Vicky's parents, parents who never seemed to spend much time in the four-bedroom, two-story house with the double garage and finished basement. We would roll the entire bag into slim, lightweight joints that looked gift-wrapped in onion white skin papers. We'd share one joint, then tuck the bounty away for the weekend to follow. At some point, one of us came up with the name derelict as the preferred collective for herding us all out the door. You derelicts ready? Let's go. We applauded the loaded shorthand, believing it suited the late night partying we got up to. Parties where we drank cheap plonk from coffee mugs and raided liquor cabinets for vodka we would mix with orange juice and a handful of ice cubes before heading to the local pub. We smoked cigarettes bought from the humming electric vending machine that stood inside the front door of the Pig and Whistle. We let guys buy us draft beer, then refused to leave the pub at closing time with anyone except each other. We smoked pot while we walked home in the dark, singing and dancing with each other. We hitchhiked on long summer weekends to Sauble Beach and lied to our parents before and after. Come the spring of our last year together, we crammed for final exams and somehow scored grades high enough to get each of us into undergrad programs at York and Carleton, the U of T, Sheridan. We believed, or so we believed. We behaved, or so we behaved, like derelicts. But this word with its vacant, bloodshot eyes and unkept hair, a word with dry skin and dirt under its fingernails, lost its appeal as we moved on with our lives, built careers, married, bought homes, divorced the men we married, moved house, raised children. Yet we all insisted, each in her own way, of escaping for 3 nights once a year, escaping to a cedar log cabin south of Algonquin Park that Vicky inherited by way of marriage. And during these private reunions in the woods, gatherings that continue to this day, one of us will ride the word out of storage, only to find there is no longer any air in the tires. Curious, I try once more. Dear derelicts. Nope, still flat. Not just because our behavior has matured along with our taste in wine, but to call someone a derelict is not laughable, and it never was. The word fills me with suffering when I see a homeless woman on the street, someone my age pushing a shopping cart filled to overflowing with all her worldly belongings stuffed into a couple of green garbage bags. I stare at the blank screen. How do I address my oldest, dearest, not just in a group text or email, but during the times we gather? Dear little flock? No, only Cicero could get away with that one. Cicero was born 3 centuries after Plato died, but he studied the work of this ancient Greek philosopher. He would have known that Plato used the Greek word philia to express the sentiment of friendship, a type of love that involves loyalty, care, and strong emotional bonds. It was Plato's intention to expand the meaning of phileta, or friendship, so that family ties and socio-political connections were embraced in this manner. Friendship was fastened to philosophical debate. Later, in Plato's best-known work on ethics, he wrote of the qualities that attract people into friendships. Perhaps this is what Cicero's little flock suggests. Yet Cicero did not adopt Plato's use of philia or the word phileta, meaning lovables, another tone of Platonic friendship. Maybe Cicero, like me, was searching for his own way in through language to summon all he felt for his oldest, dearest flock of friends. I reconsider phileta and speak the translation out loud, hearing for the first time the sibilant S in lovables. The final consonant kisses the air as it escapes through the space between the tip of my tongue and the back of my front teeth. I repeat and repeat and repeat. Lovables, honey on my tongue, myth, magic, the philosopher's touchstone, a force field gathering. Dear lovables, I tap onto the screen, thinking of you on this rainy Monday afternoon and missing you all. Thank you. Thank you for listening to all that.